Hello and welcome to Intermittent Fasting for the Win. I'm your host, Mike Saunders, and I'm thrilled to be here with you. My co-host is Jelene Wygan, an experienced faster and fitness coach. We'll be interviewing fellow fasters from all walks of life, shining a light on their progress, their struggles, and their victories. We'll get their tips, tricks, and plenty more to help make you a winner with intermittent fasting. Working out while fasting can be a powerful combo for fat loss, mental clarity, and discipline, but it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. Since I got involved in intermittent fasting, I've started working out 4 days a week at a local gym. And when I work out, it's usually always in the morning on an empty fasted stomach. And I feel great. The other guys in the gym that work out with me feel like they have to have something like a protein shake or maybe even a bacon and egg breakfast on their stomach. And they just can't understand how I can go on like them and work out just as hard as them on an empty stomach. So today, we're going to give you a breakdown of what's involved based on physiology and practical experience. Jelene is a fitness coach, and I'm going to lean heavy on her for some answers. Are you ready, Jelene?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, first, let's talk about the benefits of working while you're fasting out. And the first one would be fat burning.
Yeah, definitely. Our bodies prefer to use ketones, and while we're fasting, our body is burning those ketones. And for me, it just makes my mind feel sharp, and I can feel the fat burning just revving up.
Well, I mean, you get to a point in your fast where you use up all of your glycogen stores that are in your liver, and then it switches over to fat burning mode if you're fat adapted.
Yes, that's a really good point.
Yes,
I
it
can
is.
feel it. I can feel it when it switches. Can you feel it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really can.
Sometimes I might get a little bit of hunger before it switches over, and I just know, just push it like another 15, 20 minutes, and then boom.
Yeah,
I can
I
feel
mean that's exactly it for folks that are just starting to fast. Sometimes that hunger pang is not really a hunger pang. It's trying to let you know that you're fixing to switch over.
exactly. So just try to push it just a little bit longer, and then
Okay.
boom, it switches over. It's
So
amazing.
fasting and working out while you're fasting, it can enhance your fat loss, even with just something as simple as walking.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, just getting your body moving, it really revs it up.
Okay. I think the second benefit of it would be a boost in your hormones, like the growth hormone and adrenaline and stuff. So,
Mhm.
what do you think about that?
Yeah. So before I was an intermittent faster, years ago, Alan, my husband, was a mountain biker, and he would always ride and race fasted. And back,
Really?
yeah, back then I thought it was like terrible. I was like, you're going to die. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I can't believe you're doing this. And he told me it's best to work out fasted because that's when your human growth hormone really starts to rev up. And that helps you to build muscles and it helps you to maintain your energy. And I didn't believe him at the time. I'm so sorry, Alan. But he's
Well, that,
absolutely
that's kind of like the guys in the gym. I mean, they sit there and say, "Are you okay now? When's the last time you ate?" And I'll say, well, "Last time I ate was, yesterday."
right.
Man, I don't see how you do it.
I don't see how they do it working out after eating. And
I don't either.
I've done it both ways. I just started my job as a health coach at the gym I work at. Actually, we call it a club. We don't call it a gym. It's Curves for women. And I prefer to work out in the mornings fasted, but sometimes I have to work out after eating just because of my schedule. I work there in the afternoons and I like to work out before I actually work. And I can tell the difference in my energy. Like if I had just eaten within an hour, I feel sluggish. I still push myself through, but I can feel a difference. And I wear a heart rate monitor. It's called My Zone, and it tracks my heart rate. It tracks how many calories I'm burning, which I don't really focus on the calories, but it does that. And I can tell you, I have data that shows how much harder I work when I'm fasted compared to when I'm fed. It's a humongous difference, like a good 150, 200 calories. That's the only way I could really track it. But my heart rate actually gets up too in a good way. Like I'm like really working my
Well, I
body.
mean, the I guess it's been about a month ago. I took my blood pressure machine into the gym, and the guy said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I want to see what my blood pressure is while I'm in a fasted state and while I'm working out." So we did a leg day, and I mean, we were doing, squats, and I got through doing 6 sets of squats with a 135-pound bar. And I mean, the heart rate was going and everything like that, but I put the blood pressure cuff on. You know what my blood pressure was working out?
Tell me.
It was 143 over 74.
Wow.
I mean, that's impressive. I thought it was going to be like 160 or 170, because you would think so, but uh-uh.
You
And
lift
the other and the
130.
other and the other guy said, "Hey, let me check mine." And so they were checking their blood pressure, and let me tell you what, they weren't happy with their blood pressure.
Yeah. You said you're lifting 135 pounds?
Well, that's what we were working out with that day. Normally when I squat, it's 100 and yeah, but let me add it up, make sure.
Okay.
No, it's a 140-pound bar. It's
Wow.
got it's got 90 pounds of weights on it, and
That's like
and
lifting me. I'm a little
yeah,
bit I'm a little bit less than that, but that's
yeah.
lifting a person.
No, I
Awesome.
and then I can get over on the leg press machine, which is the same thing as a squat, but you're sitting down and you have more control over it.
We
Uh,
have that at Herbs.
I kind of scared my orthopedic surgeon the other day because he asked me, was I still working out at the gym? I said, yeah. Matter of fact, the other day I set a new high for myself. I did 370 pounds on the leg press machine. He said, you got to be kidding me. I said, well, you told me that I couldn't tear up this artificial knee. He said, yeah, I did tell you that, didn't I? But I'm a big guy. Okay. I'm a big guy. So don't think you got to go in the gym and start doing the things that I do. But well, let's move on and
Okay.
let's talk about and you've already hit on this, but let's talk about the mental focus.
Yeah, I just feel like when I'm fasted, I can think really clearly. And I have a goal and my body just responds to the fasting and I just can easily push through. I don't feel distracted. After I eat, sometimes I feel tired and my energy definitely goes down and I feel like I have a little bit of brain fog. But when I'm fasting, I don't have that. So it really, yeah, it's like boom, it just opens it up and I push through and feel so good when I'm done. And
Well,
then it
like
can
I'm doing a mealless Monday today. So
mhm,
that means that I'm not going to eat anything. And then in the morning, it'll be the morning of the second sleep.
mhm.
I know when I go into the gym tomorrow morning, my mind is just going to be clicking and whirring and I love the way it feels in a fasted state like that. And I can focus more on my workout.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
So what about let's talk about some of the challenges or the risks involved. And one thing is, if let's just say you're in the gym and you're working out and you're burning up your glycogen stores and they get burnt out, and then you flip that switch to fat burning and burning ketones, uh, there could possibly be a little surge there where you say, kind of feel like you don't have as much energy, you know, in that little short amount of time. It's just going to be a short amount of time.
Right.
And then those ketones are going to kick in.
Yeah, you just got to push yourself through just a little bit. But the only caveat that I'll give is if you feel nauseous and shaky, then it's time to eat.
Yeah.
That's the one thing you have to listen to. You don't want to push through if you're feeling unwell. Feeling unwell means it's time to eat.
Yes.
That's never happened to me working out. But if it happens, it's really important to eat.
Yeah. Well, what about muscle loss? People say, well, if you're fasting and you don't have any food in your stomach, aren't you burning up your muscles?
If you are fasting clean, you are using your own fat as energy. Your body knows to protect the muscle. If you are not fasting clean, which I don't even believe there's such thing as a dirty fast, but people talk about dirty fasting, that's a low calorie diet if you're dirty fasting. And then yes, you could lose muscle. And the research that I've seen, the risk of losing muscle is only if you do like really long fasts, like
Yes. Yes.
5 days, which I could never do. Then you do have a risk of losing muscle then. But if you have a daily eating window, or if you're just doing ADF, you're fasting clean, your muscles are protected.
Yes. I agree with that 100%.
Can I throw something really quick? Just something that came to my mind. I don't want
Go.
to. I was listening to a podcast yesterday with Jillian Michaels. I can't remember who was interviewing her. Do you know who she is?
Yes. She
Okay,
was on The Biggest Loser.
she was, yes. And she's always been completely against fasting. She believes in calories in, calories out. But in this podcast that I listened to yesterday, she has finally said she is now understanding the science behind fasting and understands how you don't lose muscle when you're fasting. I couldn't believe it. I'll have to,
That's good.
I'll have to share it with you.
That's good. Yeah, share that with me, because I always liked her on that show, you know. I mean, she was hardcore too. She would be tough on those folks.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's taken her so long because, these people in the fitness field, they're making money off of supplements and all of their programs. Fasting is free. But I think it's coming to a point where all the research is showing how healthy fasting is. And if they don't acknowledge it, then they don't look very educated. So it's time.
That's just like one of the guys in my workout group. There's it on any given day, there's 4 to 5 of us. And we all meet there at 7:30 in the morning, and we do everything together. And one of the guys in that group, we call him Sensei.
I love that.
Listen, he's a little short, sawed off guy, but he was a professional bodybuilder. I
Mm.
mean, he was in the competitions and the whole 9 yards. And even though he's 67 years old, he's just right behind me. He is still in just incredible shape. And he understands that I'm almost 73 years old and that I should only do this much. And he won't allow me to hurt myself.
Good.
But with all of that being said, he he it's taken him seeing me and to understand that he doesn't have to have that big breakfast before he comes in,
Right.
because he's seeing it with me. And showed him a couple of things and sent him some links, and said, here's more information about it. And so he still wants to do it the way he does it, with his supplements and this, that, and the other, but he understands now. And that's kind of like what you're talking about with Jillian.
Yeah, you planted a seed, and sometimes that's all we need to do is just plant a little seed and then back off and
Okay. Well,
watch the seed grow.
let's hit a really, really important point here,
Okay.
and that's dehydration. You need to be hydrating yourself while you're working out, do you not?
I mean, I think we should always be hydrated. I always drink water before I work out. I don't drink water while I'm working out, but the program that I do is only 30 minutes. We do 30 minutes, it's circuit training. So you go 30 seconds on a machine and then 30 seconds on a mat doing cardio or recovering, depending on what your body needs. So it's 30 minutes doing the circuit, and then we do like 10 to 15 minutes of stretching on a stretching machine. So I'm not pushing it as hard as like you guys sound like you are. But I drink if I'm thirsty while I'm working out, I'll stop and I'll go have a couple sips and come back. It's important to be hydrated, but it's also important not to push yourself to think you have to drink so much water, because if you drink too much water while you're fasting, you could ruin the balance of electrolytes. So
Yes.
I also like to do electrolytes before I work out. I use Element, LMNT. It's a powder. It's plain and raw. I just put a little bit in my water. I don't use a whole packet. Some people do. I just use like a quarter of a packet, and it helps me to push through. I know you like to use salt, and
Hmm.
I like salt too. Redmond sea salt is my favorite.
Yeah. That's like, did you listen to the podcast I posted called Mike's Morning Method?
Yes.
Okay, and I talk about one of the first things that you should do in the morning, and this is before you go to work out or before you go take that walk. Just make sure that you're hydrated. You know,
Yeah.
go ahead at first thing and drink some water. And if you want to add that salt or that LMNT to it, hey, go for it. It's only going to help you.
I agree.
So let's talk about workout type. Does it really matter?
I mean, I think it depends on your goals. For me, women after 50 and men too, we start to lose muscle mass. So for me, really working on maintaining muscles has become my priority. It wasn't the beginning of my journey. The beginning of my journey was just to get my hormones balanced and to lose weight. So I've only really started focusing on working out within the last 6 months or so. But for me, it's really important just to do a lot of resistance training just to keep my muscles strong. And, we need those muscles. The older people break a hip, and that can lead to a spiral. And I mean, I'm not that age yet, but it's important to start right now and build
Okay.
those muscles. So, I feel balanced. I can get up and down easily, quickly. And I like to do cardio too, a little bit of cardio, because it's just good for your heart. It's good for your heart to move and get that blood pumping.
I always do my cardio after I do my weight training.
Hmm.
Uh, and there's a science in that, and Dwight explained it to me one day, and I can't really explain it back, but I've discovered that works the best. If you're going to try and mix cardio and weight training, do your weight training first after you do some stretching and stuff, and then move on to the cardio to finish it off. So there was a 2016 study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism, and they found that fasted exercise increases fat oxidation compared to fed exercise. And then another study in 2020 called the Research in Nutrients suggested that combining intermittent fasting with resistance training actually preserves muscle mass better than fasting alone.
There we go.
So there we have some science and some studies behind it. And it's always good to have that kind of stuff.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
So I knew how my body felt, and I really trust in that. But the science is really important.
Yes, it is.
And
yes.
fascinating.
And believe me, when I set out and I told you that I wanted to do a podcast about working out fasted, I really got into some research on this, and it actually it made me aware that I was going down the right track by doing a fasting workout, and a lot of these studies are saying that fasted workouts can be effective, but you got to do a little bit of planning. You got to make sure you're doing the right thing that's right for you. And just like with fasting, all of us are different. It's the same way with working out. All of us are different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you have to work out after eating because of your schedule, I mean, then that's how you should do it.
Yes, it's just like it is with intermittent fasting. The schedule is infinitely variable. And you can tailor your time of workout to your fast. And if you're one of the ones that needs to eat something right after you get through working out, then hey, just switch your window around.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, different.
Listen, this has been a great episode. I've enjoyed this.
See you next time, y'all. Bye.
If you need more information on fasting and want to join a group of people who embrace this lifestyle, let us recommend that you go to Facebook and search for Intermittent Fasting for the Win, and also search for Clean Fasting Jolene. Either of these groups will help you along the way. We also recommend that you read Jen Stevens' books, Delay, Don't Deny, and Fast, Feast, Repeat. Both of these books will give you valuable information to help you in your intermittent fasting journey.